Tuesday, April 16th, and this is Bottoms of the Barrel. We're doing our comedy show here at Shakers tonight. Yay, Shakers! 3160 North Clark. My name is Thomas Bottoms. I am your host tonight. I am your host for the radio show. We've got Jason, the owner behind the bar. We've got some great drink specials tonight. We've got $3 domestic bottles, $4 well drinks, and $4 Jaeger and Fireball shots. Now, in case you don't drink, don't worry about that. You can buy me a drink. Vodka is my little black dress that goes with everything. Someone was like, vodka and prune juice? I'm like, yeah, that's the colon blow. I'm going to be a hit in the nursing home. I am. I'm going to show up with my copy of Showgirls and prune juice. Everyone's going to be my friends. I love Showgirls. I do. I've started watching something worse than Showgirls, probably, like The Real Housewives of Atlanta. It has taught me to assume the worst intention, make sure every interaction ends in an argument. And if you can shake your hand in someone's face, that's important. And if you somehow have two interactions in one day with multiple different people, the problem is them and not you. I saw that, I was like, wait. So someone you hired just went off on you, and now a friend's going off on you all in one day. Girl, it might be you. No, I'm perfect. It's okay. It's really sad. The Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris burned down yesterday. Someone said Paris is burning. I'm like, that means something different in the gay world. Yay, that reference still works. I'm happy. I do have to say that our commander-in-chief suggested that apparently airplanes can just pick up giant buckets of water and fly them over cities and just dump them. And that solves fire. I don't know. As someone who watched the Super Friends cartoon where Superman stopped a volcano by putting a giant boulder on top of the volcano, even my 5-year-old kindergarten mind's like, that doesn't work. The boulder will just melt. That's what lava is molten rock. I don't know if it would work, but we could probably toss in some politicians and see how it works. All right, that's hateful. I'm mean. I'm being mean. I did a show on Saturday. It was a good show. It was. I did my radio show. I then got to perform at Nighthawks. Had a cheering crowd, and then I literally walked next door to do laundry. I had become I was the star on the stage, and then I became the washwoman. I went from riches to rags, everybody. Thank you. Let's see, what other jokes do I have? That might be it. Oh God, that's depressing. Oh yeah, I'm fighting my allergies. Anyone else have bad allergies? Yeah, my eyes just turn red, tear up. I walk down the street like I'm crying, like I'm having a nervous breakdown. And I probably am, I just wish I didn't advertise. Oh, why? I'm in a room full of comedians. We're all well adjusted. All right, we're gonna get this crazy show going. Our first comedian up, her father watched the show in Virginia. She's been a guest on my radio show a couple times. She's making the round in the scene. Give a round of applause for Katie Zane! Yeah!
My hot take about Donald Trump is he doesn't know how to buy milk from a store. And so I don't understand why he gets to be the president. Because he's been rich his whole life. He doesn't know how to buy. He couldn't buy a pack of gum. Like, he could be walking down the street and be like, I need gum right now, and he would not be able to solve that problem by himself. And I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to kill kids in other countries because you can't buy a pack of gum. Like that you shouldn't be allowed. Also, you don't appreciate sex workers, so get out of here. Let's see. Which I have a bunch of little hot takes I wrote down that don't Let's see. Okay, so let's start on this. I recently found out that the person that I'm sleeping with may or may not have a grandma fetish. Yeah, like I think this was supposed to be sweet, but the other day he told me about he saw an old lady struggling on a bus, and he was like, "I thought of you." And I was like, man, okay. That was a little bit of a gut punch. But then yesterday, like after we were sleeping together, like we were done, we had a good time, and my hip hurt, and so I was doing these like deep stretches, and he's like, yeah, do those deep stretches. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, and the cane. And I'm like, oh my God, you're into grandmas. And then I realized there's like an untapped resource of dudes that I could be sleeping with that might be a little into grandmas that are 35 years old. And I need to get on that. I need to pursue that, I think. My other thing with related to sex is one of my favorite things in the world. Like I'm a weird, messed up person, and certain things make me really happy. Like I call it delicious. Like when something makes me feel real happy inside. And my favorite thing ever is like if a former frat bro or former MRA, men's rights activist, or former incel like wants to sleep with me. I just, there's like this sick, messed up satisfaction of like, I'm like, you're not supposed to like this, but you do. Everyone's told you that you shouldn't like this, but you see these fat rolls and you're like, oh my God, I just want to be in there. And that's like a weird, I think that's my fetish, I guess, is I'm making grown, all-American looking men realize they like to have sex with fat women. Like, that's my favorite thing ever. So I'm out of shit. Like I said, I'm fat. I'm actually very okay with it. Someone called me like a very genuine and unapologetic last night, and I was like, that's the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me. Because like I just am who I am, and I'm fine with it. And I've been embracing my weight lately, and but the other day though, like I saw somebody else running for the bus, and I took a deep breath for them. Like I was like, oh my God, thank God you got on the bus, because I am exhausted. I'm done. And so yeah, that's the thing that happened. The other thing is lately is I'm a crazy person. I recently, about 8 months ago, I was hospitalized. Because I wanted to kill myself, and I know people are like, oh, that's really deep and that. It's fine. It's like the greatest thing that ever happened to me was admitting that I was nuts. And when you start to say that you're crazy and just admit it, like you just like let all the crazy out. Like everything that you've been like trying not to do for like 20 years or whatever amount of time for you, because you might be young people. And like you just like let it out. And like so when I was hospitalized, I like made them let me watch someone like wash my shower. Like, I wouldn't get in the shower until that happened. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. And then I realized, like, I took that as license. So I was like, holy crap, I can just, like, tell people all the time that I need things because I'm nuts. And they'll just do it. And they do. Like, I have a sound sensitivity. So, like, I'll be like, no, I can't. Like, I just, the thing. And they're like, oh, no, baby girl. Like, it's fine. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, I have been not taking advantage of a lot of things in my life, being a grandma, being crazy. Like, I need to really get in on all these things that I have going for me that I didn't know. Let's see, the next thing. Let me just tell you a little story about being hospitalized, actually. So that night when I wanted to commit suicide, I went to the hospital, the ER, that's where you should go when that kind of thing happens. And you think, like, the day that's how you feel, that's probably the worst thing that's going to happen to you that day. And that was not the case for me. I got to the ER and I started my period. Right? Like in a hospital bed, okay? Like ER bed in the special section for crazy people. And again, like I'm like, that's the worst. I'm good. I want to kill myself. I'm bleeding out of my vagina. Like nothing else bad can happen. Except for they let me choose the channel. And so I bled out of my vagina for 7 hours to Steve Harvey's mustache. Right? Because Family Feud. Like that seems like a really wholesome choice, right? When you're in the hospital, like this is a good idea. It was not a good idea. Like I do not like Family Feud anymore at all. And again, like all those things, you think it's going to be the worst day, but I got up to the floor and I found out I couldn't have tampons. Right? That was a good gasp. I love you, Thomas. Like, because that's accurate. Like, you're like, what? I was suicidal, okay? Like, I was angry. I told a male nurse he did not have a vagina. He did not get to decide what happened with mine. And I ran back to my room and I wrote this punchline, which I was like, how do you kill yourself with tampons? What am I gonna, like, toxic shock syndrome myself to death? Like, I'm just gonna, like, shove, like, 5 tampons in there and that's how I'm gonna kill myself? Like, that's what I'm gonna do? And when I told this to my sister when I got out of the hospital, she was like, I would tell no one when you died that way. I would lie. Because that's a super freaking way to kill yourself. That's the worst. I would tell nobody the truth. And I know, right? Like, I mean, and the thing is, like, I love my sister so much. But also, like, can I just quickly say, just because this is recorded and she's probably going to watch it, that she loves the fact that she's in that bit. Like, I've been telling that bit for a while, and she is thrilled as hell every time I say that her punchline of saying that gets a better laugh than my punchline of the toxic shock syndrome thing. I just want to put that out there. She's very proud of herself. My entire family, like, lives through me doing stand-up. It's, like, kind of amazing. Like Thomas said, that's real. Like, my dad will watch this entire YouTube thing. All of you guys are going to be seen by my father in Virginia. That's a real thing, because my family thinks I like shit gold. I don't know. They have a lot of faith in me as people. But maybe they shouldn't, but maybe they should. So lately, to cope with my clearly alarming mental health disorders I've been talking about, I've been masturbating, but like to the Marvel movies.
Oh.
And I think a lot of people hear that. And then they're like, it's Captain America, right? Like, that's what she's in there for. And I'm like, no, guys, it's that Infinity Gauntlet. I'm a lesbian. Put those pieces together for yourself. I'm not going to do the hand gesture, but fisting. That's why that's hilarious. Fisting, that's why that's hilarious. And then one last little story for me, which is recently I was on my way to a Tinder date, and I found out that I have HPV. And I know that is the normal sane person response to that. Is like, oh no, things are happening. I've got an STD and I have to tell people. That's not how I reacted. I was like, hell yeah, I have HPV. Because I have had herpes since I was 20. If you guys didn't do the math from earlier, that is 15 years ago that I've been on my little herpes socially unacceptable island. And now I'm on HPV island with everybody else who has HPV, which is everyone in this freaking room. And if you didn't laugh at that joke, you have HPV. Go to your doctor. I've been Katie Zane. Thanks you guys so much.
Katie Zane, everybody! She's having her fantasies to the Infinity Gauntlet. I think it's because her sexual romances just go up in dust.
Accurate.
Too soon, too ready. I feel your pain that I one time had a date with a gentleman, and afterwards he said, we have to talk. And I'm like, oh God, is it herpes or bed bugs? I mean, I know there's no cure for herpes, but bed bugs have a much bigger stigma. It just does. And I relate to being a mess, like you, Katie, I do. Goodness, it was during a Bush administration that I had a friend with benefits that realized that when I'm high-strung and neurotic, apparently I'm much more eager in moments than times when I'm happy and joyful. And what happened is, during the time of knowing him, like, I got a new job, I was getting money, my bills were paid, things were good, and I don't know, and then suddenly, like, my tires would get slashed. And he would call to check on me, and I'm crying like someone slashed my tires, and he would have to rush over and put his hand on my shoulder to comfort me, and then things would progress, and he was happy. And then things would, like, my cat went missing. And I'm like, she's indoors, how'd this happen? And then she showed up, and I was happy she showed up, and there was strong emotion, so he came over to comfort me. So things were, because of all this, I finally, like, took a personal day off of work, and I came home from work early and found him in my house. He had broken in. I'm like, what are you doing in my house? And he's like, oh, yeah, I was setting things up. I'm like, are you the one who slashed my tires and stole my cat? And he's like, well, you seem really upset, Thomas. You want to have sex? Now, our next comedian, I'm sorry I'm bringing you up to that. Give a round of applause for Amit Joshi.
Right, what's up, Shaker?
Yay!
Yeah, I rarely come out here. I live in the West Loop. West Loop is where white people walk their babies on leashes and their dogs in strollers. Yeah. My wife and I are trying. Hold for applause.
Yay!
Yeah, hold for a bigger applause. Yes, thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna need to replay that back in my head. Get those swimmers going tonight. Yeah, my wife and I are having a lot of scheduled sex lately. The neighbors have been complaining on us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 o'clock p.m. to 10:02 p.m. Yeah, really getting it in. Yeah, I watch a lot of porn too. Anybody here fans of porn? Yeah, I watch a lot of porn. For the longest time, porn was the only form of sexual education that I had growing up. Like, I'm from the South, so I came from a abstinence-only state. So the only sexual education I had in school was, if you have sex, you're going to die and then go to hell. And I'm also Indian, too, which meant my parents were like, just do AP Bio and figure out Punnett squares, and that's how you know sexual education. Yeah. The only birds and bees talk I ever had was this one time I looked up at my dad and he goes, Dad, where do babies come from? And I swear to God, he goes, it's all in your balls. That's it. That's the only sex ed conversation I've ever had. I just went home recently to visit my folks. It was a little strange this time, you know, like when you realize when your parents stop being your parents and they start becoming your friends. Like, my dad has always been a really chill guy, right? He walks around in his underwear. He likes to eat pizza, but he's so lazy, he'll just scoot it up his chest and nibble on it until he gets to the crust. It's very lazy. He likes to drink, but he only drinks in the bathroom because he's so afraid of my mom. I just imagine that he has this whole bar underneath the bathroom sink and just makes himself a cocktail when he's taking a dump. Oh. My mom, on the other hand, completely opposite story, right? She's your typical Indian immigrant mother. Strict, firm. So forget about dating girls when I was growing up. I wasn't allowed to go over to American people's homes. It's not because they were American, it's because she knew that they wore shoes in the house, and somehow I would get converted by that. She'd be like, no, chi. The American people are disgusting people. They are sucks people. She doesn't know how to string words together, so when she wants to say somebody sucks, she'll say sucks people. I've heard I was a sucks boy my whole life. But this time around, I don't know. It was a little strange. I started thinking about this time when I was 12 years old. I was in middle school and walked into a science class, fresh off the spelling bee championship. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And I sat down, my buddy Darius sat next to me and he goes, hey man, look what I got. And he pulled out of his backpack this blue VHS tape. I was like, oh my God, what is this? This looks awesome. He goes, no man, you have to watch this, but you have to wait until your parents go to sleep at night, otherwise you're gonna get in trouble. Like, I don't know, man, I got Indian parents, they go to sleep like 2 a.m. I myself go to sleep like 11:30 after the Cosby Show. I don't know how this is gonna work out. But YOLO, whatevs, I just put the tape in my backpack and went home. The next day was a half day for some reason, so I left my backpack at home. Went to school, got on the bus, came back. My mom was just sitting there in the living room in silence. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Who died? For a split second there, I actually forgot that she is an Indian mom. You know what that means? Indian moms go through your stuff like nobody's business. She will find anything. You could have James Bond staying in my house and she'd be like, oh, what is this? Oh, spy kid? Oh, looks like you're going to die today, Mr. Bond. Yeah, so then I'm looking at her and she's looking at me. She's got these flaring nostrils, big bulgy eyes. And then she turns on the TV. And you guessed it right, folks. Hardcore 70s anal porn. And I'm mortified. I'm sweating bullets because I don't know if you've ever seen anal porn for the very first time you've ever seen a porno. But as a 12-year-old, it's kind of like playing video games and skipping 1 through 9 and going straight to the boss mode, like, you have 3% health, fatality. Like, as a 12-year-old, it's definitely an acquired taste, right? There's anuses, there's penises, there's mustaches, and I'm getting sick to my stomach. Like, is all sex like this? Is it always going to be like this? Because if it is, I want to stay a virgin forever. And then she does a scary movie slow turn to look at the TV. She goes, and I lose my mind because I'm looking at her and she's looking at the TV. It's me, mom, anal. 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 Me, anal, mom, me. Me, floor. And then I start crying because I know I've been caught with something terrible. It's not mine, I swear, it's my friend's. He's American. He's the sucks boy. You know how many terrible American friends I had growing up because they used to just blame all the bad stuff I did on them? I thought it would work this time too. Then she walked up to me. The next word she ever said to me, I will never forget. She looks me in the eye and she goes, "You're not my son, you're not my blood. Throw it away!" Slaps me twice across the face. And leaves. I'm crying. Taking the blue VHS out of the VCR. I swear I'm telling the truth this time. My dad, I don't know where my dad was throughout all of this. I guess he was just like scared and he heard of this and like drinking in the bathroom. And he walks up to me and he looks at me with that look of disappointment in his face and he just goes, No, don't throw it away. Somebody paid good money for this. I didn't give it to somebody. So a couple weeks ago, I'm home visiting my folks, cleaning out the laundry room, find all this old stuff, whiskey bottle, socks. What else did I find? This crusty, dusty, beautiful blue VHS tape. This dude kept it the whole time. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Amit Joshi, everybody, give him a round of applause. My pornography story with my parents is vastly different. My family was poor, so they couldn't afford conversion therapy. So I got to stay up late Saturday nights to watch Skinamax and the Showtime late night movies. And what's worse is I watched them for the plot. Like Vanessa that had a theme song, and there was the housekeeper that took hair from her brush and put it on a doll and stabbed it. I still have an interest in voodoo, and I have to admit, like, I hate musicals, but the musical porns were my favorites. Especially Cinderella, where she gets a snapping kitty. Like, that one is very fabulous. Now, our next comedian, I don't think he owns a cat. Give a round of applause for Andrew Tavin.
So I saw an X-ray online of someone who had shoved a Buzz Lightyear action figure up their butt, which is weird, but at least now I know what the Beyond is. Infinity Beyond, so that's nice. I also, I think I'm alright with the robots taking all of our jobs, as long as they're forced to learn cursive for 3 years beforehand. Right? That just seems fair. You clearly need it, or else why do we all learn it? So I was at a bookstore. I saw this book. The premise of the book was, what if there had been zombies on the Titanic? And it's like, I don't know, I think it would have turned out pretty similar. Right? Everybody's told you, like, oh, hey, I got my new book. It's What If John Wilkes Booth Had a Cooler Gun? Right? He'd show the gun to his friends. Friend would be like, oh man, that gun is sick, Semper Tyrannis. See, yeah, that's the thing. I don't necessarily expect that to always work, but I do think there's going to be an audience member who it just hits really hard for, right in the back of the head. It'll just ruin the whole show for them and everyone else. That'll be great. You don't mind if I read you a poem I wrote?
Go ahead.
No? Okay, good, I will then. I was going to regardless, that's the secret. Smoky barbecue on a day in July. A cell phone call from your sweetie pie. A cold glass of Diet Coke. Hooray! On a sunny, sunny, sunny day. These are some of the things that give you cancer. Can you an impression I've been working on? Okay, is that cool? Alright, good. I'm going regardless. That's the theme. This is a civil engineer explaining why he can't go back to his old job, okay? Civil engineer explaining why he can't go back to his old job. Just burned too many bridges. And I'm back. You know, they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And it's like, yeah, but only because his father was king. Right? Like, that's how monarchy works. The king isn't just whoever has the most eyes. It would be a terrible way to run a country. I also, as far as I'm concerned, the internet has accomplished its purpose. Because I saw a video clip of Alfred Molina dressed up as Dr. Octopus in between takes of the original Spider-Man 2, practicing for his upcoming role in Fiddler on the Roof by singing If I Was a Rich Man while Assistants made the tentacle snap.
Yes!
And I cannot tell you what I would give to show up to Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway and have the announcer come on and say, we apologize, but the role of Tevye, normally played by Alfred Molina, will instead be played by Alfred Molina with giant killer robot arms. I think some of you don't appreciate how awesome this is. He can hold so many fiddles. I do know that I just implied that Tevye was the fiddler, and I'm worried one of you is going to come up to me after be like, you know the fiddler is an anonymous personification of hundreds of years of Jewish tradition balancing on the roof of encroaching European modernism, right? It's like, yeah, I know that. Look at me. It looked like if that musical had a face. And that face was made out of Jews. I saw a 4D movie recently, a 4-dimensional movie. I don't know what you thought the fourth dimension was, but it turns out it's getting water sprayed in your face. That's cool. There you go. That's some science. I also got I got another character I'm working out. You ready? You ready for it? Here it comes. Ready or not? Here it comes. All right. I think if we just explain our position to the Decepticons, they will understand and leave us be. That was Optimus Prime. Thank you. That's an applause break right there. Also, so, I don't know if you all know this, I found out that some states didn't recognize Martin Luther King Day until the year 2000. That's nuts, right? Like, can you imagine being so racist you'd rather go to work? Current events. I don't know, Joe. Did you see this? Did you hear about this? Apparently they got drone racing on TV now. Yeah, did you see this? They got drone racing on TV. But the real drones are the people watching it, man! Yeah. I was talking about robots earlier. I think it's funny that there's all these British robots and no Cockney robots, right? No one's ever like, oi! I was thinking maybe we would take over the humans. That takes a real nosedive after the oi part. I guess because I can only do Jewish robot, and that's the overlap, so that's fine. I'm gonna finish off with this. You're all super cool, and you too, America, and Katie's dad. How's Virginia? I'm gonna end up with this. So, you know that song? Everyone sing along. You say tomato. I say tomato. You say potato. I say potato. Tomato. Tomato. Potato. Potato. Let's call the whole thing off. Wow, that's got to be the worst way to break an engagement, right? Anyway, I've been entertainment. Enjoy this.
Andrew Tavin, everybody. By the way, your Jewish relatives sound far different than my Jewish relatives, but I think that's because we're all very nasal.
Marvelous.
Anybody watch Game of Thrones on Sunday? Yay! Yay! All that build-up and nothing happened. I do have to say that when Aunt Donnie took her nephew Jon Snow up flying in those dragons, was I the only one who have had flashbacks to like Erica Jong's fear of flying? Why would I think this audience knew about 1970s like poetic erotica? I don't know why you would think that. But we do have to admit now that Jon Snow knows he's baiting his aunt. And I know Steve Perry sang "Oh Sherry, I'm in love." I now just sing it. Oh Aunt, it's Aunt Danny, I'm in love. I don't know why I thought that would work. I mean, I don't like Journey. I stopped believing a long time ago. The worst thing, like, I've worked in porn, and the worst thing I've ever had to purchase was, like, a Journey's Greatest Hits. I was in tears. It was not the allergies. I had to tell the clerk, no, this is for someone else. I don't listen to this. But yeah, everyone always likes the song "Don't Stop Believing," where the boy is born and raised in South Detroit. South Detroit's Windsor, Canada. I stopped believing a long time ago. Now our next comedian, I think he has faith. I hope so. Give a round of applause for Ed Sato.
Let's hear my favorites after these minutes here on stage. Ed Sato is not my real name. That I only changed it because I was a teacher. So my real government name is Eduardo Soto, with a Latin accent. And people mess up my name. They would say, hey, Ecuador, or hey, Equator, or Eduardo. My fear was, hey, aren't you the guy that works at Home Depot? I'm like, Lowe's. I work at Lowe's, okay? Better quality. And it's crazy because now with all these policies with immigration, and it's scary, you know. And no, I'm legit, I think, you know. Let me check my papers when I go home. But if you're wearing a jacket with gold lettering, I'm going the opposite direction. I don't care if it has North Face, Patagonia, or it just has, I don't care if it has gold lettering, I'm walking away like, I'm going this way. I'm not messing with them. That might be ice. Or as my mom would say, who is that? That's yellow. Who's yellow? You know that people take people away. Oh, them. Walk this way. You call it walk this way. So a little bit about myself. I was the only child in my family. And in Mexican families, people, they drop their mouth like, one? Yeah, mother found out the way I was. She was like, you know what? One kid is good enough. I was rambunctious. I thought I was Superman. I thought I could fly. I could fly all right into an ass whooping. And I got them all the time. You know, timeouts don't work. Oh my God, Tammy, go ahead and take a timeout. Sit in your corner for 15 minutes. Man, my mother didn't believe in timeouts. All she told me, where do you want it today? You want it in the face? I'm gonna hit you in your chest. Maybe in the back of your head. Oh, you're going to school, never mind. I'm gonna get you right here in the back. That way they won't know. You know, you got a good whooping when your schoolmates can figure out you got beat up by a GE core, you know, like, what happened here? You got beat up by GE? No, your mom whooped you, didn't you? Like, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. It's crazy. And she'll get creative. She'll tie an extension cord with the sandal. She would. And she'd be like, yeah, the chancla, yeah, that's right. And she'd be like this. Like, get over here! I'm like, whoa! Instead of get over here, like, get over here now, stupid! But, you know, she wouldn't call me stupid. She called me cabrón, you know? She would. Because when she said, Eduardo, I would respond, she says, cabrón, what? ¿Qué? And I'm like, I'll respond. I was so stupid, but that's the way she got my attention. I think of myself, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. But I realized, Mom, baddest mom on earth. Baddest mom. So she told me a story a while back where she was like, you know, your real dad. I'm like, when you say biological dad, nah, he's your real dad, alright? I'm not gonna biological. Nada. So I guess one day he just wanted to take me away. I was just an infant. Walking to the door. She goes, hey, what are you taking my son for? I'm taking him away from you. Oh, really? Now, he struck my mom in the face. Okay? Now, someone back then, they probably would have took that because of maybe just they don't want any problems. My mom, she was looking for problems. So she said, oh, really? Okay. Alright, she's rolling out her sleeves, right? Alright, let's go. Now, my mother's short, so think of Mario, but not having the mushroom. And my real dad, think of Bowser, okay? Or better context, Little Mike from Super Punch-Out and Mike Tyson, okay? Man, she uppercut him and was whooping his butt. Here's the kicker. She never dropped me while she was still whooping his butt. She had me right here and like, take this. Cabrón. Walked away unscathed. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna feed you right now. Badass mom. Great badass mom. But my mother wasn't really the best at certain things. There's certain topics I couldn't discuss, like sex. When I would say, what's sex? She goes to me, who you get pregnant this week? I know what pregnant was. I thought pregnant was like some type of new slang for like, I was new slang and new clothing. I don't know what pregnant was. Like, who did you get pregnant? Like, I go, Mom, I don't know what pregnant is. Oh, she said, look. If a girl got big, she was speaking like, look, if baby got grande panza like this really big lady, okay, she got baby. And they're like, baby, yeah. And then she screams, goes, ah! That means baby come out, and that's yours now. That's tuyo now. I'm like, what? So what I realized is if I ever see a pregnant woman, that's my baby, because I had nothing to do with that. She's like, yes, that's your kid. I'm like, wow, that is so messed up sex advice I ever got. You can't talk sex with old school Latina women, moms. You cannot, because they expect the worst. And then she never tells you about the STDs. All she said was pregnant. Well, look, if you get a little bump there, kiss you goodbye. She'd like do a sign up across, like, what are you doing, man? That's gonna go away. Se te va a ir. I'm like, oh my God, Mom. Oh. God bless her. She's 70 years old. She can still kick my butt to this day. She still can. Oh my gosh. I've had colleagues of mine go to me and say, I gotta say something. I gotta say, Chipotle is the greatest Mexican food I ever had. Alright, from one Latino to all of you, it is not real. Okay? You might have Alejandro cooking for you, but that don't mean it's the legit stuff, okay? Look, a real Mexican restaurant has the following. It's it's from a state in Mexico that you can't even pronounce. It has like 5 accents on it, right? You like Huaki, Calipilo, Huachacua. You can't even say it. It has like 2 vowels in the front, 2 vowels at the end, right? That's when you know you have a real Mexican restaurant. But here's the biggest indicator. You walk in, their 5-year-old son takes your order and busts the tables, and also charges you for the meal. Right? Be like, so this is my hijo, this is Ruben will take your order, but he's 5, pero no. He can work. One thing in Mexican culture is when you can walk, you can talk. So, by the time he was 2, you know he was busting tables at Oaxaca. That's my time. Thank you so much.
It's Sato, everybody! My parents used to spank me all the time too, until I brought them a paddle I wanted them to use.
Oh my God.
So back to the Game of Thrones. Now I just want to toss this out there when everyone's watching it. They were like, "Oh, why did Cersei Lannister bang Uncle Greyjoy?" Well, you know, she can't bang nephew Greyjoy because, you know, he ain't got what he used to work with. So why'd she bring Uncle Greyjoy? It's like, well, she knocked up, and she has to, like, Maury Povich this. Like, oh, he's the father, he's the father, he's the father. Because they don't want everyone going, well, another blonde-haired kid spat out from her, and all we have are brunettes. Surprised no one ever caught on. Our next comedian, I don't think he'll ever catch on, but he's going to be a co-host. He helps me with a lot of things. Give a round of applause for Phil Burns. Who said to stop? Yay! Okay. Again? No. Mike Huckabee claims that the gay community is causing the morale problems in this country. Yes, we are. Yes. This from a man who governed a state where you go to a family union or a sheep pen for a hookup. This from a man who had sex with Miss Piggy and Sarah Huckabee Sanders as proof. If this wasn't on for FCC Saturday, I would tell you what I really think of Mike Huckabee. And you can, how come on the Sci-Fi Channel, up until 10 o'clock, you can say whatever you want. They throw F-bombs out. Has anybody watched a new show on Sci-Fi called Happy? Yep. Chris Maloney. Stabler. Yeah. Can you imagine him on Law and Order SVU as Happy? Who's going to kick his ass? And especially, and Liv would be the unicorn, Oswald Patton. But anyways, I got a girlfriend. Yay! Yeah, actually, some of you have met her. Kind of. She doesn't know she's my girlfriend yet. And I don't want to piss her off because she's from Germany, and you think about what Angela Merkel did to Donald Trump. I don't want Angela Merkel coming after me. I don't want her having the Luftwaffe bombing Chicago. No, she's 18. She's a good kid. We just talk. We hang out. That's all. I said hang out, not hook up. Hang out. She's just here on work visa or whatever. She's going to college now. What else? Darn, I mean. So, the last 2 days, somebody's made comments to me about my age. Saturday, somebody on Thomas's radio show made a comment about me needing a hearing aid. My reply was, hear this? Now today, I work out at Planet Fitness, as you can no doubt tell. I've been going there for almost 2 years. Before Planet Fitness, while Planet Fitness. I talk to people. Although people don't always like me talking to them, I talk to people. And we start. And one of the people that worked there, I was on the elliptical. He walked up to me. He says, "At your age, don't you take a midday nap?" I said, "What do you think I'm doing on this?" and it's funny because I used to go later in the day,
especially in the winter, because I'm a big Criminal Minds. I like the cop shows. I consider it learning TV, how to get away with murder. But then I already knew that. I used to be an MP. But they used to have this women's rowing team. They were cute. They were attractive. They were in shape. They were all under 18. That was the pedophile buffet. And I swear to God, more guys my age came in at that time, and I would leave at that time. And these guys would not even come in to work out. They would just stare. No, you don't stare at these girls. Actually, the funniest thing was, the first time I saw them, some of them were using a treadmill. One went flying off. And after I was leaving as it was, I walked over, I helped her up, and I said to her, look, if you're going to try to pretend you're Superman, try flying forward, not backwards. Their trainer didn't exactly like me talking to them. Not that I cared. So anyway, yeah, I'm a little bit older than most of you. Not by much, I don't think.
A couple months.
Yeah, a couple months. A couple hours, yeah. I've gone through some tough times. I've had cancer. I've had cancer 5 years ago. I had prostate cancer. The way I got treated was I had seeds injected. Okay? I was kind of like the poor man's Iron Man, but instead of a nuclear reactor in my chest, I had one in my prostate. Which was, no. The best part about that was, you know, on the bus, you get all these annoying little kids that won't shut up. Well, one of the things they told me for 2 months after I had these seeds injected, keep away from little kids. I was purposely riding the buses while I was recovering. I wanted to see these kids gone. Especially these whiny little guys. I posted a meme today. There's going to be, I'd love to open a restaurant where a kid's meal is $250.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many kids would show up? You better be rich. And that's the thing, is that you get people like Donald Trump. Oh, and I heard that the militia groups in the western states, like Montana and that, they're stockpiling on tiki torches and khaki pants. Yeah, they're buying them all up from Virginia because Virginia's trying to get rid of the stigma of what happened last year, Charlottesville. Oh my God! And then the thing with Notre Dame, what's going to happen to the football team and the basketball team? Okay, so a smattering of chuckles. Thank you. But there was one person knew this was going to happen. One person. You know who that was? Who? Quasimodo. He had a hunch. And I'm going to give it back, before I give it back, I'm going to bring up the next comedian. Where's he at? Dan
Marganski.
Yeah, him too. Dan Marganski, come on.
Fantastic. I feel like I don't know. All right, I don't want to share that. That's probably the complete opposite way to start a show. I was like, you know what? I have this idea that I thought over there, and then I was like, you know what? Scratch that. I'm not going to get into my opinions. I got a bike. That's pretty exciting. I got a bike. I haven't had a bike in 15 years. It's pretty cool to have a bike. I've been riding that thing all over the place, riding it to work and stuff. I ride it right to work, man. I'm really becoming a true cyclist. Yeah, that's what we call ourselves, cyclists, which of course is short for bicyclist. For all you layman people out there, that's the technical term. Call ourselves cyclists. I got a coworker who's also a fellow cyclist. It's pretty cool. He's starting to share the insider information with me now. You know, like the info that's out there on the streets and whatnot. All that cool biker knowledge. Oh, I'm part of the club now. That's the whole reason why I got a bike, is just so I could talk to my coworker. He never would have a conversation with me before that. He's like, "Oh, you ride the bus to work? I'm not talking to you." And he'd walk away. It's pretty weird. But now that I got a bike, I know his name now. It's pretty cool, right? I'm really getting friendly here. But he's telling me this hot tip. Here's a little example. He told me, he's like, "Hey man, you better watch out when you're going down Clark Street out there. There's a lot of broken glass out there." And he gave him a wink. That's all. That's the insider information. He didn't even tell me where on Clark Street. He was just like, no, there's just broken glass all up and down that street. So just completely avoid it at all costs. Even if you're walking, I think it would probably just be best to avoid it completely. I mean, there's glass all over the place, man. You might pop a sole or something like that. Wearing some Nike Air Maxes or something like that. Pop a sole, man. Expensive shoes, man. You don't want that to happen. Better wear the Converse or something, you know? So, yeah. Coworker's crazy, man. He rides his bike in the rain. What a badass, man. I can't do that. I don't ride my bike in the rain. I don't even ride my bike at night. I'm like a junior pilot just trying to get his license, you know? I'm not allowed to ride my bike during the nighttime hours, only during the daylight. I have a little special light on the back that flashes, let other bike riders know I'm a novice rider to watch out for me on the road, you know? I mean, I'm not even allowed to have passengers ride on the pegs until I've clocked at least 200 hours minimum behind the handlebars. That's how strict these rules are. It's crazy. I didn't even know. It's crazy, man. It's scary riding a bike in Chicago, I'll tell you. It's so I don't ride it at night, man. I almost got hit by a car my third day having a bike. This Uber driver just cut me off. He pulled right in front of me and hit the brakes to let out a passenger really quickly, and I almost smacked right into the back of his bumper. But luckily I was pretty stoned. I was only going about 3 miles an hour, so it all kind of happened in slow motion. I just kind of tapped the bumper a little bit, left a little tire mark and all that. It was all good, you know. We shook hands. It could have been a lot worse, though. Could have been much worse. I could have been high on cocaine. Then I would have fought the Uber driver. It's not helping anything. Yeah. I almost hit a car my third day having a bike. Got hit by a car my second week having a bike. That's true. Some lady, I was just riding down the bike lane as you would, like a legal bike riding citizen, you know, and this lady opened up her car door without looking. I impacted right into it, like 15 miles an hour. Flew off over the handlebars and all that stuff and cracked my elbow open. Yeah, I got 3 stitches in my elbow. Yeah, I think it's crazy though. Like the lady when she asked me, we traded information, all that good stuff. The first thing she asked me is like, "Oh my God, you're Polish? Wow, I'm Polish too." I was like, "No, lady, I'm bleeding. All right, call an ambulance. I need stitches, man." Jeez. I mean, what a traitor, right? Fellow countryman. She just smacks me with her door. She should have known better. I even had the flashing light on the front of my bike. That thing does not work. People are like, oh, you gotta get lights on your bike so people can see you. They don't look. So, save the $13 on those lights. Good thing I bought them off Amazon. Returned those things immediately. Left a bad review like, hey, I got hit by a car with these lights on. Yeah. A lot of people have been telling me like, oh, I guess you're gonna get some. The good news is you'll get a little bit of money, a little payout for your pain and suffering for having to have to deal with all your problems. I was like, I'm not too confident in this whole pain and suffering payout because I'll tell you, I've been doing stand-up comedy for years and I've only made about $37 for my pain and suffering. So I'm not too confident I'm gonna get a big payday I'm looking for. You know. Like I said, I don't ride my bike at night, man. It is way too sketchy. And you guys ever have to rack your bike up onto the front of a bus before? And you guys ever ride a bike and do that? It's intense, man. I'll tell you. I was caught one night. It was too late. Didn't want to ride my bike home, so I was like, I'm gonna catch a bus. It took me 3 buses just to get it right. I looked up. Well, you guys look up information. Wait, nobody ever here? Who cares? My shitty crowd work. It doesn't matter. I ask a question and then just blow right past the answer. You guys might have been like, yeah, I ride a bike all the time. It shows what kind of comic I am. I just like, here's some crowd. This is me doing crowd work. And I just blow right past it and I don't even listen to the crowds. Yeah. Anyways, I watched a 15-minute YouTube tutorial on how to rack up my bike safely and securely to the front of a bus. That's what I was doing. I watched it while I was waiting for a bus to come. The first bus that came by, the video wasn't done yet. I didn't know all my information. I was like, just go by. I'll catch the next bus. Don't worry. I don't have this down yet. And then, I continued watching the video, took some notes and all that, some mental notes, and then before I knew it, the next bus had come 3 minutes early, and I wasn't prepared. I was like, man, I didn't even visualize what I was going to do yet. I'm not ready for this. I can't handle this pressure. I just waved on the second bus. I'll tell you, when that third bus came by, I was prepared. I had visualized every move that I was going to make to rack my bike up onto that bus rack. You know what I mean? Like you get the rack there, and they tell you just gotta lift the handle. You lift the yellow handle, and then let down the rack safely and securely as you would, right? As I said before. And then this is the trick, not the tricky part, but then you gotta lift your bike up onto the rack. And I got confused the first time I did this. I was like, which way does my bike go? And I was like, turning it around. Turns out I don't know. I put it on the far rack away from the bus drive. I don't know, you guys. It was confusing. The really confusing part is when you get that arm that you got to lock, that locking arm you got to put over the front tire, and I freaked out. I was like, well, I don't know. I can't tell if it's big enough for my tire. I don't know what's going on. People are on the bus waiting for me and everything like that. I was starting to get a panic attack right there in front of the bus. And I realized this was just a visualization in my, too big of a word for me, you guys. I should really write smaller words into my comedy. I pictured it in my head. It was a crayon drawing in my head, and I don't know. I got way too lost in this bit, you guys. The point of the story is I grew some wings and I flew home because it was an imagination in my head. Oh boy, I got way too lost in that. But then the third bus finally came, and I'll tell you, I racked my bike up onto that bus rack. Felt like a caveman discovering fire for the first time. It was just amazing the elation I had felt from that. I go onto the bus feeling good about myself, go to scan my card, my bus pass had expired. I ended up having to ride the bus home anyways, in the dark. That's why I got hit by a car. No, it's not. All right, goodbye.
Yay! Dan Marganski, everybody, give him a round of applause. Yes. Now, Phil Burns, you mentioned the Notre Dame, the fire, and Quasimodo. And I have to always say my dream is to do Halloween drag as a female Quasimodo and perform the Black Eyed Peas song, My Humps. My hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump. Our next comedian, I thought I saw you exiting the train, and I almost considered shouting your name, Pourciau! Pourciau! But as a comedian who's occasionally walked down Halstead, I've had people go, Bottoms! Bottoms! And you'll be shocked who turns around. You'll be shocked who turns around. Everyone give a round of applause for Blair Pourciau!
Gosh, thank you. I'm always shocked for who will turn around for a Pourciau. Amazing.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm Blair Pourciau, and this is for Katie's dad. No. That was just to upset my mom. Sorry. My bad. I grew up in southern Louisiana, so you know what that means. I grew up very conservative and very religious. I grew up so conservative that I was waiting for marriage to use tampons.
Oh.
Yeah, nothing up the vagina till a trip down the aisle.
Yes!
Yeah. Anyone else's mama say that every day other than Thomas and I's? No? Just our brand of torture? That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, grew up very conservative, but like from the South, one thing that's interesting about being a single woman in a new city, because I moved here in June, is that everyone loves to tell you what parts of the city are safe for you to go to and what parts of the city are not safe for you to go to. But like, I'm starting to find out that here in Chicago, there are just a whole lot of areas that are in between. It's hard to tell. I had someone the other day trying to tell me about this one part of town, and they were like, it's really young, it's really cool, some gang activity, but you can still get a good brunch there. I was like, oh, so we're the problem here. Got it. They were like, no, it's really cool, it's really young. Like, even the gang members are young. They're like your age. I was like, are we talking about millennial gang members? Is this Jesse from Breaking Bad? Like, what are we talking? I don't think I'm afraid of millennial gang members. Like, what's another millennial gonna do to me? Like, run up and tell me about his depression? Because that is assault, for sure. But like, there's nothing a millennial can take from me that hasn't already been taken. You know, like, can't take my money.
Because I've been in debt since before I was like an adult. Can't take away my sense of security because I'm a woman in America. Never had that. Never had that. The worst thing that like a millennial gang member could do is just like date me and then take me for granted. Yeah, that's the worst thing they could take. For sure, it'd be painful. Like one thing that's I think always painful is puberty. Puberty was, did you all have a cakewalk through puberty or no? Yeah, no, puberty, it sucks. And puberty especially sucks when you've got buck teeth and a big gap. For sure, that's the setback I had entering the dating world of puberty. And you know they fix buck teeth though in the South though is it's with a dental lock. You're not familiar with this type of orthodontal equipment, or you don't have the insurance to cover it, I'll let you know. Yeah, I felt good about that. But a dental lock, they put a bracket on either side of your buck teeth and just like stretch a piano wire nice and tight in between, just lasso them together. Looks a lot like an old-fashioned potato peeler on the back of my teeth. That's what it is, and that's why it very affectionately earned the nickname from my first boyfriend as the Dick Shredder. Yeah, no, like you ever just try to give your first blowjob and accidentally julienne a penis? Yeah. I mean, like, he was circumcised when I met him. But like I'd call it circumcision flush when I got done, you know, just real smooth, real smooth. Like, and I'm not saying that I could have stopped when I first tasted blood, but like no one told me that semen didn't taste like blood. I get none of this is gonna make it on the radio. For sure, I'm so sorry, Thomas. Yeah, no, puberty drives you to do a lot of weird things. This is for my ladies who I see cringing in the room. If you're still on my side, how many of you ladies maybe discovered your sexual essence for the first time via shower head? No? No. Weak water pressure in their house. Yes! A late confession, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, mine was similar but a little different because instead of a shower head, it was a jacuzzi jet.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, fellas in the room grimacing. It's because you'll never have that sort of jet power, you know? Just needed a lot of power right from the start. Set me up for a lot of disappointment. Yeah. No, my parents had one of those like gaudy garden jacuzzi tubs from the 80s. And the first love of my life was the right jet. Sure was. And things got a little crazy, got a little saucy. I lit some mood candles because I'm a theater major and lighting is everything. Yeah, lit some mood candles, fired up the jet, cleansed. But I ended up knocking one of those candles into the bathtub.
Oh.
Shattered.
Oh.
I had to clean everything up, scramble out of there. Thought I had gotten away with it. Thought it was good. Until later that night, my dad comes storming out of the bathroom, just kicks down the door, just covered in bloody bubbles. Oh. He was like, now I don't know who did what. But your mother was taking a bath, and now she has got glass in her ass.
Oh!
That's not gonna make it. I'm gonna need one of y'all to help me get her out. And I did not know what to do. But I did have two questions. One, was my mother using my favorite jet? And do I have to call that jet daddy now? Thank you guys, I'm Blair Pourciau.
Wow. Blair Pourciau, everybody, giving us the education I never thought I knew. She says she's from Southern New Orleans, so it's still cold outside, right, Blair?
Yes.
Yeah, it's still cold. All right. Round of applause again for Blair. Give a round of applause for Jason behind the bar. $3 domestic bottles, $4 well drinks, and $4 Jaeger and Fireball shots. Someone's already bought me a vodka drink, so if you want to buy me a shot, don't hesitate. We're going to bring up our next comedian. We're going to keep things going. Give a round of applause for Rob Speer.
Woo! That is some mid-show energy. Thank you. You know what? That's okay. I'm not doing this for you guys. I'm doing this. Who's the comedian whose dad watches on the internet?
She left.
Your daughter's a quitter. Hey, you know what? You guys didn't spend the last, 10 minutes fucking around on Wikipedia trying to learn things about the state of Virginia. So, I feel like I get at least one burn against him. I was planned, I was ready. But now I just have to do jokes that I wrote. So, anyway, part of why that tanked is that words are very important and how you choose to say them. I thought about that the other day because I used the words grudge and blood feud to describe my relationship with a seagull. He flies by the window of my office building almost every day, and I get really bored at work, so I'm really, really into him. This is good. I like this now. But I just made eye contact. I live with my girlfriend now in the city of Chicago. We just moved in together into a place of our own. That's very kind of you. It's way better to move into a place of your own, because in my last relationship, I moved into her place. And that's really different. If you guys don't understand why that's different, imagine playing a game of Monopoly, but somebody bought the board a year and a half before you did, and then you just moved in one day. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, everyone. It's nice. I like the nice anxiety vibe that I have created in here. Well, because that's kind of I live with a lot of anxiety in general. It's weird. My parents used to, whenever I got in trouble, they'd be like, you know what, Robert, you go to your room and you think about what you've done. And then I grew up to be hospitalized for anxiety 3 times. So how could they get mad? For anxiety, and I take Klonopin. Anybody else take benzodiazepines? No. There we go. There's someone else kind of raising a hand. There's the thing about Klonopin works really well, but the thing that I wish that it had was that acid side effect. Because people, when they take acid, talk about having a flashback 30 years later where they just start tripping out of nowhere. And I would love that with Klonopin, where just 30 years from now, I was just sitting there and I was calm out of nowhere. And somebody was like, Rob, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. That'd be amazing. I mentioned that I am in a relationship, and I also mentioned before that words matter, which is why you guys might understand when I asked her to describe me sexually, and she said muppety. The thing that sucks is that she said it, and it sucks that it's right. When somebody says it, it's kind of when they're like, oh, yeah, that's actually pretty accurate about me. I'm not. When people say that man is the most dangerous game, I don't think I'm the man they're talking about. Kind of thing. I am a beta male kind of person. I think I am a younger brother of an older sister. Anybody else, a younger brother with an older sister? Hold up your girlfriend's purse. That's what we become. We're just that. We are that for life. We have different. I think I have a different relationship. Once you read enough Babysitter's Club books where when Stacy got diabetes, it affected you personally. You don't approach relationships in the same way. I will say that. like some guys are really weird about when their girlfriend gets their period, and I don't understand that. It's always just like yes, but on that's a selfish level. Also, just help the person that you love. And I'm going to tell a story about my girlfriend getting her period. And if you're a guy and you're about to get freaked out, women have uteruses and they have linings, and you came out of one. And they shed sometimes, and you can deal with it. And if you're a woman and you're upset that I'm about to tell a period story, you're probably just on your reg. So here's the thing. When women know their bodies and know what they need, and so when she told me she had her period, I was like, tell me, what do you need? And she said, tampons and chocolate. And so I went next door to a grocery store called Fred's. And I looked first for the tampons, and I saw that they had Playtex and a grocery store brand called Fred's Tampons. And I was like, I know that's not the answer. So I grabbed the Playtex, and then I go grab chocolate bars and chocolate cake, and we're going to bake all together, and I buy the weed that she likes for pain, all of this stuff. Do you guys think that I'm a good boyfriend?
Yes!
Well, then I have fooled you all, because that is a story of me just getting high and eating cake on a Monday night and getting to be a goddamn hero about it. Patriarchy wins again!
Yes!
Guys, my name is Rob Speer. Thank you so much.
Keep it going. Okay, I have two quick questions. Number one, if a woman is in her 40s and up, and she dates a guy 20 years younger, she's called a cougar. Now, if a guy is 40 years and older and he's dating a guy that's between 18 and 20, why is he called a dirty old pervert? And I shower every day, so I'm not, I'm just saying hypothetically. Also, believe it or not, Adam and Eve, or Ken and Barbie dolls were fashioned after Adam and Eve. I can prove it. What did Adam and Eve have?
Belly button.
Belly buttons. What doesn't Ken and Barbie have?
Genital.
No, they don't have reproduction organs. Anyways, next comedian coming up, Christina Marie.
What's up, y'all? I'm Christine Marie. I can tell you everything you need to know about a town by the inventory of their Dollar Tree.
Yes!
Right? I judge you by what order you eat your Chex Mix in.
Oh.
Full handfuls, fucking psychopath. Hell with you. Oh, I dropped it. Ooh, there it was. Okay. And I worked so hard on making this one-liner set. So my little brother. Okay, so I have to tell you guys this. So if you haven't noticed, I'm a girl. Right? And my little brother, I went to his frat house, right? And he told me to get the Coke out of his drawer. So I opened it, and he had 3 different sizes of tampons. And I'm like, bro, what's this about? And he's like, well, I just think bitches shouldn't be ashamed of their bodies. It's like, oh, buddy, so close. So then he texted me the other day, and he says, I read this thing from this incel talking about how he's going to kill all women because he's never gotten laid. And I'm like, Nick, is this someone that you know, or is this someone on Reddit? And he goes, no, if I knew them, I'd reach out, teach them how to talk to these hoes. Dude, so close. What else do I have? This is, oh, my friend just took home all 3 golds in fencing, which is crazy because they won't even let me take home the foil. But, you know, that's a metal joke. So my depression defeated my depression, right? Because my depression says that the worst thing that I can think of is going to happen, right? But my depression says I'm not that smart. The worst thing I can think of is probably not that bad. So when I was a kid, right? Like any other like child geniuses? Nobody living up to their potential either? Yeah, woo! Alright, so when I was like 6 years old, I thought that I was really smart, right? So I took all of like the recorders that we had, like the Play School and the Sony and like the little karaoke machines, right? I put them all on the ironing board, and I would record different parts of the song. Like I'd bang on the pots and pans, and I'd sing over here, and I'd play on my keyboard over here, and then I'd record them all at the end together. Let me ask you something. Did you guys have like 400 recording devices and like 300 blank tapes and a hole in your basement? No. No wonder my mom was so bad. I was making music with her torture devices. Yeah, thank you. I like you, friend. So, let's see what. I think that raccoons are the chimpanzee of felines. Do they got the thumbs? Alright. Hey, what's it called when you lock a kid in a closet for 12 hours every day after school?
What?
Usually abused. What's it called when you give her a tip jar? Entrepreneurship. So I work the coat room at my dad's restaurant. I think you're kidding. I'm not. I learned pretty quick. Let's see. Do you know that there's no time limit on a stop sign? No, there's not. Like, you can just as long as you want. So I'm not from here, right? You can tell. But I'm not used to driving here, and I used to have like much bigger road rage. But then I tried to deal with it by like yelling Shakespearean insults, like "You horse around fat man," right? But now, like, and sometimes I want them to feel like not bad, but like improve, right? So like I'll give the shame finger, right? But now in Chicago, when I'm driving, it's just I don't know. It's the only hand signal that I have. Alright, that one didn't work. That's cool. Let's see. I was bonding with my friend from elementary school, right? Over the collective criminal records of both our parents. I learned this because I worked for my parents' divorce attorneys. My parents, it took 12 years for their divorce, one for every tribe of Israel. But so because of that, I learned how to look up things like, her mom, prostitution, welfare fraud, my dad, attempted murder, insurance fraud. We get along. But she was telling her mom that we're close now, and she goes, "Oh, I remember, Christine. You guys played together one time. You picked her nose." And Mrs. Pinsker put a stop to that. Here's the thing, that's a metaphor for the rest of my life, right? Like, I know that was consensual. I know me. If the idea was presented, I'm gonna pick your nose now. Yeah, all right, let's see where this goes. Let's see, I'll leave you guys with this. You guys are sex positive, right? You're pro, right? All right. Is masturbation incest?
No.
What if you're a conjoined twin?
Are they giving a helping hand?
What if one's dead? Can you blame him? It's the first time he's ever been alone. All right, guys, I've been Christine Marie. Thanks for listening.
Yay! Christine Marie, everybody, give her a round of applause. Breaking down our shame. I was gonna tell a Tina Marie joke in a time I sang Fire and Desire and tried to stretch my Madonna vocals to Tina Marie, but the one person who would get the joke left. Our next comedian coming to the stage is Sophia Smarandescu.
Hey you guys, how's it going?
Hey!
Alright, you have a bunch of expletives? Yeah. Right? Because this is alright. My name's Sophia. I just recently moved here from Montana. That whole state looks like a butter package. You guys seen Land of Lakes? Alright. Yeah, there's a lot of Mormons in Montana. One of my friends was telling me that Mormons, they think that, or they believe that, they all get their own separate heaven that's full of their extended family. Like, they all get their own heaven full of, their aunts and uncles. That's not heaven, that's called Thanksgiving, and I do not want to go. Alright. Yeah, my parents are kind of nuts. I don't know, I guess that's why I'm here, but, yeah, my last name's Smarandescu, it's Romanian. Both my parents are Romanian. Growing up, I loved the way my parents said certain words, like millionaire. Millionaire! Growing up, my daddy liked to constantly keep me grounded by always reminding me that I'm not a millionaire. And he'd usually do that by shouting at me when I was doing normal things. You're not the millionaire! It's like, I know, I'm buying a track phone. But he'd also say when something good happened, he'd be like, it's nice, right? It's like we are a millionaire! So we're just at Denny's, right? Settle down. Yeah, I lived in Montana. I lived by this like very exclusive club called the Yellowstone Club. It's a club for millionaires. Anybody here heard of it? No? Alright, we're all a bunch of commoners. To join the club, you have to prove that you have at least $10 million in your bank account. I wish we had like an equivalent vacation spot for poor people. Like if you want to go on vacation in Branson, Missouri, you have to submit a video of you getting in a fist fight with your mom in a Big Lots. Shout out to Big Lots. One of my friends like worked at this club, and he had to teach a younger woman and her much older husband how to make instant hot chocolate. I'm just surprised she married rich and doesn't even know how to stir. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah, one of the reasons I know that my parents grew up in communism, I know it looks like I have Tourette's, but I don't. I'm just clarifying. You guys think I have Tourette's, don't you? Or like a stutter? I actually don't. Just let you know. All right, sweet. That was awkward. My parents were raised in communism, and one of the reasons why I know this is because anytime my dad wants to say something racist, he always like turns the volume up on the stereo so the government doesn't hear. It's pretty weird hearing that the Holocaust never happened. Beat on my hips don't lie. Shakira's his thing. Yeah, the first time I brought up that I was raised by two parents who grew up in communism, this like white college guy started cheering. He was like, "Woo!" And I was like, "Settle down." They didn't like pick it up in college. Because there's two kinds of communism. There's college communism you get from reading books, and then there's real communism where they burn your books. All right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's see. You guys, my mom's an affair lady. Anybody here like to have affairs?
Yes.
Yes. All right. You're the first person who's admitted it. Kudos.
Can't have a happy home, wreck one.
Right. Yep. Shout out. I love the term extramarital affair, right? It's just like bonus. Alright. Yeah, so my mom, this is gonna get complicated, guys. She had an affair with a married man with terminal cancer. It's gonna get funny in a bit. He passed away. It's gonna get funnier. No, just kidding. That was horrible. He passed away, and my mom wanted to go to his funeral, but his wife hated my mother. So to go to the funeral, she just ended up wearing a burqa. We're not Muslim, just in case you can't tell. We're not Muslim. But that's like pretty much the opposite of what the burqa was intended for, you guys. It's not an affair cloak. But that's my family for you. We will even culturally appropriate at a funeral. So, what will my family do next? Will my dad wear a yarmulke to cover his bald spot? Time will tell. All right, great. So I have bangs now because I'm going through a breakup. Yeah, it's true. I feel like breakups feel a lot like action movies. You know, you think it's over, then there's another fight scene. I recently went through a breakup, and I feel like, I was a little unsure about us, but there's a little bit of serial killer in everybody, a little bit of J-Dom. Jeffrey Dahmer. I was unsure about us, but then he turned to me and asked if he could do his foreskin stretches while we watched Seinfeld. I was like, Seinfeld? Not really a foreskin kind of show. So I said no, and he said, why not? It's just like breastfeeding. Just like breastfeeding? That sounds like something a homeless guy who just got caught masturbating in a public park would say. What? What? It's just like breastfeeding! Alright, that's my pantomime of me masturbating, you guys. Thank you very much!
Keep it going! Christina, you were talking about masturbating incest.
Yes.
With a dead co-joined twin, right?
Yes.
That's called marriage. And I'm going to keep this train wreck going. Jack Allen. Don't trip over the chart.
All right, thank you. How are we doing? Been seeing a lot of comedy tonight, but I want you to know I'm a different kind of comedian because I'm a Christian comedian. And what that means is that even though there's no evidence that my jokes will land, and there is no definitive proof that my punchlines work, you just have to have faith that I'm funny. And like a good Christian, I'm outraged at unethical organizations. Right now I'm really mad at the Girl Scouts because I found out that to make their cookies, they are using adult labor. Alright, and I'm scratching. Let's not tell any more jokes tonight, okay? Let's, I saw this thing that I thought was kind of cute on Facebook. Where it's a list of questions, and you ask your boyfriend these questions, and then you write down his answers. So I'm going to give you his answers to these questions. What is something that I say a lot? Buy a Sam's Club membership today. What do you not like it when I do? Suggest that we shouldn't take advantage of the great value that is a Sam's Club membership. How tall am I? It doesn't matter, because one of our helpful store associates will help you to reach whatever great deal you desire, even if it means breaking out one of those big old ladders. What is my favorite restaurant? I don't know. Some place where you can't get an extra large slice of pizza and a huge fountain drink for under $2? Just kidding. I'm not an idiot. How do I annoy you? By suggesting that we go to Target and buy reasonable quantities of items. What is my favorite food? The blood of Costco CEO W. Craig Jelinek. So, those were the answers. I just thought it was a cute little thing that I could show you, Okay. How are we doing YouTube? By the way, if you're not laughing at these jokes, it's okay. They're not for you. I'm actually doing my material for the people watching this in-between conspiracy videos at 3 a.m. Yes! That's who this is for. My people! Okay, I'm trying to remember what it is. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back to some older jokes. This is an older joke. I actually wrote this joke in 411 BC. So you know this new play, Lysistrata by Aristophanes? Oh man, you gotta see, if you haven't, it's a great play. But not to spoil anything, in the play, all the women, they go on a sex strike against the men fighting the Peloponnesian War to get them to stop. They go on a sex strike. No more sex until the men end the war. So I'm just thinking, if I were in this play, I would be like, oh man, this sex strike, it's really affecting me. We need to end the bloodshed. Oh, please. I am having so much less intercourse than usual. Stop the war now. Oh no. I can't take it. You know, ancient Greek jokes. I'll do some more of those. You know how oracles from Athens walk like this? But oracles from Thebes walk like this? Yeah, ancient Greek. Oh, that's what's really getting it. Okay. Ooh, so I have something serious I want to talk about now. Meryl Streep has a net worth of $90 million. Beyonce has a net worth of $355 million. Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, has a net worth of $800 million. Imagine drawing a picture of a cat, getting $1 million for it. Now imagine doing that 799 more times. This man had one idea. He was like, all right, I have this great idea for a cartoon. It's about this whiny virgin and his sadistic cat. And they verbally abuse each other all day. And it's not funny or cute at all. And this man is on track to die a billionaire. In drawing the fat cat, he became the fat cat. Thank you, my name's Jack Allen.
Yay! Jack Allen, everybody, throwing in those ancient Greece jokes. I have to say, as someone who took philosophy in college, and they talked about Socrates and Plato, I had to take the class again because I asked the teacher, why can't philosophers get a job? Why are they telling us the higher meaning to live while they are not living? And then Socrates just ate whatever it was he ate. I don't know what that was about. I'm sorry. There we go. We're going to keep it going. Our next comedian, he's starring with Sansa Stark in the Dark Phoenix movie, and he is as Sansa looked upon Dany in the Game of Thrones, you could tell she was looking at her going, yeah, my movies made money. Give a round of applause for Connor King.
Oh. I don't know what any of that meant, but it was fun. I liked it. Give it over for Thomas, everyone. Oh, look at us. Someone said you fuck like a Muppet? Yes. Which Muppet, dude? They don't all fuck the same. You kidding me? Grover. Okay, I feel like he's passionate. Fozzie you can cuddle with for sure. Who do we think's the best? Which Muppet's the best? At sex? I thought Animal, but I think he's like a guy who watched too much porn and he's just going way too fast. You know what I mean? Like all the time.
Gonzo.
Yeah, Gonzo. Yeah, you got that nose you can go in there with. Okay, this is disgusting. You can just cut all this, John. Thank you. Alright, what the fuck is up? Oh no, sorry. Okay. Right. So I'm doing good. But what Muppet do you think you fucked the most like?
FCC!
That's not a Muppet? No, sorry, what Muppet do you think you're most like in bed?
Probably like Beaker.
Beaker? Because you're just like looking for instructions for someone else to tell you what to do?
Just like a little frantic.
Yeah, like, and you're just making the same weird high-pitched noise the whole time. Yeah, this checks out. Well, I got some new material. I don't know about you, but this is a closer. For sure. Okay, I'll see how long I can go without doing jokes, and we're looking at 2 minutes. So there we go. 2 whole minutes right there. Okay, cool. I was just back home visiting some family, hanging out with my dad. I'm originally from the East Coast, and I don't know if you know this, but on the East Coast there's this place called Dorney Park. Always like they got water park, roller coasters. And growing up, my dad took my sister and I to Dorney Park. But we did the water park first. And second ride of the day My dad's going down the slide. He hits this bump, goes airborne, float comes out from underneath him. He lands on his wrist, bone pops right out. We get in the ambulance, we go right to the hospital, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna get back to Dorney Park? Dude, this is the second ride of the day. Are you kidding me? The doctors come in like, hey son, I want you to know your dad is gonna be fine. Like, perfect, sounds like you got this covered. So there's like an ambulance that goes back to like how, it's like, son, I don't think you realize your dad fractured his wrist. I'm like, I don't think you realize I have a wristband. I can get right back in. So like, do you want to arrange this for me? No go on the doctor. He did not take that. And then my grandma got there. I'm like, oh my God, grandma, thank God you're here. Everybody here is being crazy. If we leave now, we can get like 3 more roller coasters in, maybe get a flash pass, get some more on the back end. No going to grandma. She was not on board with that. And we're just sitting there for like hours in the waiting room. I'm not even seeing my dad. And then finally, like, this like dude walks up to me. He's like, are you Connor King? I'm like, yes. He's like, I'm here to take you. I'm like, holy crap, this is happening. This is totally happening. He's like, here, come down this hallway. He's like, all right, right through this door. I'm like, oh, is this the parking garage? Okay, cool. Walk in. It's my dad crying in a bed. Are you kidding me? Like, I haven't seen enough of that. I saw him go through a divorce. I'm good on that, all right? Like, crying dad, I'm good. I'm good. He's like, crying, oh my God, Connor, I'm going to be okay. Well, that makes one of us. All right, that makes one of us, Dad. That makes one of us. Well, there's at least one laugh in just 2 minutes of a story. This is why I usually don't do stories, so maybe we'll punch that up. Growing up in my house, we had a family computer. Remember those, right? Before privacy was invented? Yeah. So my move when I was a preteen and I needed privacy is that I would actually print out photos of naked women that I found on Google Images. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Which Muppet did that, right? So I'm printing out photos. It's like a routine of mine. But one day I'm printing out a photo and the printer is out of ink. But I just thought it wasn't working. So I kept trying and trying. Nothing comes out. 2 days later, my mom buys ink and bursts into my room with 16 sheets of printer paper, all of the same photo. And she's freaking out. She's like, Connor, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? And I panic. I go, that's Dad's. No loyalty. None. Right under the bus with his fucking wrist. And then she goes, Connor, Dad doesn't live here anymore. And that was the first time I was affected by my parents' divorce. All right? I don't need alimony, I need an alibi. All right, buddy? Take me back to Dorney Park. Dude, we were planning that trip for 3 months. All right, we're here, we're processing. Okay, so I don't know if you've realized by now, but I got gap teeth. Yeah, thank you. Any other gappies in the crowd? Yeah, let me hear your smile whistle. Yeah. There you go. All right. You can only do it on accident, you know? Yeah. I had a girl recently ask me if I had braces. Ask me if I had braces, I'd have a refund. Are you kidding? My mouth is malpractice. Like, this is messed up. I caught myself there, yeah. Thank you. I was too poor to get braces growing up. Too poor to have braces. In fact, I was so poor, I used to have to share a bed with my dad when I was 18 years old. Yeah, legally an adult, officially a loser. All right, we're sharing a bed, a fool, if you're wondering. What's a full-size bed? Very ironic name for that bed when you're sharing with your dad. But what the craziest part about sharing a bed with my dad is that, like, I always heard, like, the Oedipus complex, right? Which is when you want to sleep with your mother and kill your father. But I'm sleeping with my father, and I want to kill myself. For the record, I'm like the sweet chef. I don't know if you're wondering, but I feel like a good way to button that. I keep going for me, Steve Hofstetter, everyone you've seen tonight, everybody. Love you. Thank you, Thomas.
Connor King, everybody! Bringing awareness to us gap-toothed brethren. I have to say I headlined 2 shows in Denver, and on my second show, when the booker saw me again, he was like, "Oh yeah, we'll need to fix your teeth." Straight up, he said that. He's like, "Yeah, we'll need to fix your teeth." And so it sucks, because, you know, as a gay man, there's already a portion of the population that can't date. You'll get that on the way home. We're going to bring up our next comedian. He was a guest on my radio show, Bottoms of the Barrel, last Saturday. He can tell you how I made him listen to Mercedes' Boy by Pebbles. Give a round of applause for John McCombs.
Those musical choices were terrible, Thomas.
I love
awful. Those were awful. You have all these songs that start off real nice, and then you have people who sound like they're doing karaoke for the first time singing, and they made an album. They made more than one song. That's terrible. Also, you're gonna lose like 2 out of your 3 YouTube viewers for giving away the Game of Thrones spoilers, man. Come on, man. Kidding me? Out here, I download this. Come on, I don't. It's getting real. We got to get through this somehow, right? You say you're Romanian, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you been there?
Yeah, I was born there.
Cool. I lived there for 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I found.
There's no black people there.
I know. I know because they have different stereotypes over there. It was crazy. I was at a gas station. This old woman comes up behind me, smells me, and looks to her friend and gives her a thumbs up. What does that mean? What does it mean? Yes! I want answers. What did you do? Was he like, "Oh my god, they do smell like cocoa butter. Wow, this is amazing."
Let me text my cousin.
All right. Cool. I expect a solid answer by the end of this set. Cool. Got my identity stolen last weekend. That was fun. Yeah, I found out because the bank called me because they found that the person who stole it had better spending habits than I do. It's crazy. They called him up and like, "Hey, we noticed some strange activity on your card. Apparently, someone used your card to buy a vegetable medley." I was like, "That's way different from what you usually buy, your usual $20 withdrawal for weed." I'm like, "How do you know that I am using that money to buy weed?" It's like, because the next 10 purchases are just Candy and Grandmaster Flash albums. That's all you use that for, man. Yeah, these people actually, they stole my identity and they tried to buy $250 worth of Facebook ads for Malaysian sausages. How cutthroat is that sausage game in Malaysia, dude? Like, is Jimmy Dean out there kicking over kielbasa stands? Like, what is going on in Malaysia? It's insanity. I don't know. Let's see what else I want to talk about. Voting. Y'all need to, well, hold on. Let me rephrase that. Voting reform is a very serious issue, I think, that needs to be addressed. Last presidential election, half of all eligible Americans voted, and that is way too many. Okay, I have seen what you guys post on Facebook. I'm not impressed, honestly. Look, I know voting is a way we give everybody a voice, but have you met everybody? Like, have you ridden the train? Like, do you really want to know what the guy who raps out loud thinks who should be president? You know? Have you been to a Golden Corral? Okay, do you really think a woman who has 3 kids all named Hunter, she should have an opinion on ISIS? Like, and she gets the same amount of voting power as a scientist. That's insanity, man. Voting should be a point-based system. Like, you share an article without reading it, you lose half your vote. If you are over the age of 20 and you still go to the theaters to see the Fast and Furious movies, you lose your whole vote. You're done. You can't have that anymore. Exactly, man. I don't like people. I learned that out. I figured that out when I was working at Target, and I have the same people. It's just you got to work a customer service job. You see the same people. There's always one woman comes up with a cart full of crap, and she says the same thing every day. I only came in here for one thing, and I stopped the conveyor belt. I'm like, put it back, Karen. You're an adult. Have some self-control. Those are feather earrings. Where do those go with? Not everybody should vote. I think the most selfish people in the world are people over the age of 80 who vote. What are you doing at that point? Like when the biggest threat to your health is a firmly shut window on a hot summer day, you shouldn't decide who's president. I'm not even gonna like trip and act like it's not gonna happen to us when we're 80 years old. They're gonna be trying to pass like robot human marriages, and we're shaking our fists like it ain't natural. You know, like, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Siri. Like that's gonna be our thing, man. Let's see. What else I want to talk about? I don't know. Maybe it's a generational divide because I know a lot of us in here are millennials. Sorry, guys. A lot of us in here are millennials. Actually, Thomas, we're the same age. You're what? How old are you?
Timeless.
Okay. Whatever.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Oh, yeah, we're the same age.
Cool.
Black don't crack. I got mine from injection.
I'm not even gonna dive into that. All right. Anyways, every generation gets a lot of hate. Our generation included, except for whatever reason in the greatest generation, which I think they should, man. You know, I get it. They fought in World War II. Some of them fought in World War II. Some of them also stayed behind and screwed everyone's girlfriend. They don't tell you about that. I was saying, 1941 to 45, I think Agnes wasn't getting any dick the whole time. You know, she wasn't impressed by that guy who could do that knee dance really well, like that. They did douchey things. You ever see a photo of someone from that generation that always had their hat cocked to the side? That's the duck face of the 40s, man. I just wonder what the generation before them was saying about him. Like look at him! Look at these kids running around, smiling in photos. In my day, you sat there straight-faced so you can haunt people in the future. Look at them! All these kids drinking cocaine-less Coca-Cola. How do you expect to keep your wagon finger going when you're dancing? Look at them! Riding a bicycle with two tires the same size. The big tire's meant to keep your pockets out of the reach of the Irish. That's a new sound I ain't heard tonight. Hey. Hey guys, that's my time, John.
John McCombs, everybody! I might buy you a drink for that 28-year-old comment. Give him a round of applause, yes. We're down to our final two comedians. We're bringing up to the stage Max Schenker.
Man, I wanted a Game of Thrones intro. I wouldn't understand. I don't watch Game of Thrones. If I wanted to watch white people fucking kill each other, I'd work at a high school again. I don't know, man. John, so you got your credit card stolen, your debit card stolen?
Yeah.
Did they just steal it through the internet? Yeah. Dude, that happened to me, and I found out at a set break of a Grateful Dead show that I was on a lot of acid for. And Chase called me, they're like, hey, there's some weird activity on your card. Are you in Cincinnati right now? And I was like, well, I want to buy beer. Can I pretend that I'm in Cincinnati for 15 more minutes? And I'm like, sir, this is not how that works. And then I hung up and turned off my phone. Convinced Chase was going to get me. Cool.
Every part of that story checked out.
It does, man. It does check out completely. I was like, well, I guess I could just watch John Mayer pretend to be an old guy who OD'd on heroin for a little bit longer. Very fun. Yeah, very niche. Very niche jokes. Here's one. Here's a niche joke. What do you call it now? I'm feeling weird, man. I learned the other day that hospice is not good news. Yeah, egg on my face, right? Like a whole carton full. I'm definitely allergic and I want out. Fun. Yeah, learn hospice was not good news. Also learn that when someone tells you a loved one is going to it, you're not supposed to say, oh, thank God, I've been praying for this to happen. It results in a sad mom. But I will be going to Michigan if anyone needs cheap cigarettes or cloaked racism. Oh, man. I like acid. It's fun. I used to do it too much. I did it so much that I lived with a DJ on purpose. It was my idea. I was like, dude, I fucking love your vibe. Like, I want to hear your work morning, noon, and 3 hours after midnight. Dude, he wasn't 21 when I lived with him either, so he used to like sneak him into his gigs, buy him beer, pretend like he had a future. He just played for 5,000 paying customers on Saturday night. I could have been a little nicer to him, you know, like I could be a DJ site man. What do you have to do, drugs? Oh, twist my arm. Oh, press one of my nostrils. Like it's like I get paid for what's ruining my body. I don't know, man. I had to tone it down on the whole fun drug thing when I found myself smoking DMT on the peak of an acid trip. Yeah, man. For those of you guys who don't know what DMT is, it is the most illegal drug in the world. That when you smoke it, it transports your consciousness to another realm where these higher beings give you life advice like, try recycling once in a while. But this time, I stayed in this realm when an orb from the 5th dimension filled the room, told me I was kidnapped by the government as a child and put into MK Ultra where I was then trained to murder. So I have a bit of a problem with small talk now. People will be like, hey man, how you doing? And I'll be like, good, just waiting for my trigger word. It's hospice. Like, man, you millennials really get to the point, triggered about everything. I'm like, no, you don't get it. When I was 3, the government ripped me from my bed and trained me to murder the head of another government. They're like, Max, this is your mom. I think it's time to move home, buddy. Yeah, I had a lady come up to me after a show and she's like, you should really see a therapist about this. It's like, I would, but the last one I went to is trying to send me to collections currently. Could you not post that part on YouTube? I haven't read the emails. I got a new email address and I'm not having stress dreams about this. Dude, my stress dreams are so on brand. I've been having dreams that I'm in a dispensary, it's the end of the day, and I can't figure out what to buy. Like, dude, we're closing. And I'm like, well, I've been here for 3 hours, and I can't decide if I want the medicated cauliflower or whatever this is. All right. I work in an office, which seems off coming from somebody who just said all those things I said. Work in an office. It's a fun job, I guess. I don't know. I work in the main office of a food delivery app. While I can't legally say what it is a hub of grub. Is there a way you could just put in like Uber Eats? And I use it all the time because I'm a hub of schlub. And I'm convinced that my order history is going to give away the fact that I spend half the money that they pay me on weed and weed-related accessories. Yeah. Like the other day I ordered $40 worth of French fries for dinner. Oh, God. Another time I ordered $10 worth of salsa just so somebody could bring me napkins. But the thing that I'm pretty confident is going to give it away is the other day, I live above a taco restaurant in Avondale. I ordered delivery from that restaurant, and in the delivery instructions I put, go through the back of the building, come upstairs, please don't mention the weed smell I work for Grubhub. I have resumes to hand out. Funny thing about that is I don't even have most of a film degree, so if anybody wants to go to bat for me, I will certainly ruin your chances of ever recommending anybody else to work at a company again. Alright, I've been Max Shaker. Thank you guys.
Max Shaker, everybody. Making bad decisions. You know French fries don't travel well. Am I the only one who knows that? Or do we just have bad French fries in this town? All right, are we ready for our final comedian? The comedian, one would say, is covering the rear. The comedian who, for some reason, didn't make it to the radio show last Saturday, but he was invited. The comedian that now when they shout out, who's the ginger gay, no one's going to call out Thomas Bottoms. Give a round of applause for Beckett Kenny.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm exposed. Okay, it's all true. Everything is true about me you've ever heard. And I know you've heard a lot of things. First off, let me address the obvious. Not carrot top, okay? Really more of a carrot bottom. Okay, okay. Has everyone in here heard that joke? Probably. Yeah, I experienced some homophobia recently.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when you boo. Are you guys homophobic? Because it kind of took you a second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Kind of took you a second. Like, maybe like, oh, Mike Pence, I love him. You know, like, kind of took you a second. Like, it's not Adam and Eve, it's Adam and Steve. Took you a second. Okay. I'm keeping track. I experienced some homophobia. I was at a dive bar recently, and I ordered tequila sunrise. And the bartender said, "That's the gayest drink I ever heard of." And I'm like, one, I'm gay, so that's fine, right? Like, I can order a gay drink. And two, I don't think that's the gayest drink you ever heard of. I think the gayest drink you ever heard of is cum. So, if you think about it, it's probably cum. Thank you. All right, ejaculate. Does anyone here love true crime? Okay. Me too. Who do you guys think is the hottest serial killer?
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. Everyone says Ted Bundy. And yeah, Ted Bundy is cute, okay? Everyone knows that. But then it's like, he was a Republican. And that's a deal breaker, right? It's like, yeah, you can kill 1,000 people, but like, one vote for Trump, I don't know if we can work through that, right? And then Jeffrey Dahmer, I think he's super cute too, and it's like, he's gay, so I know he's my fan, you know? But then the thing is, like, with Jeffrey Dahmer, he took people's heads off and put them in his freezer. I was like, we know you can take it, but can you give it? Whoa! Yes. You know those stories of like, I got in a car with this guy and he was creeping me out, and then like 2 years later I saw him on the news and it was Ted Bundy, like he killed 1,000 people. Have you heard those stories?
Yes.
Yeah. My mom thinks she has those stories. She's like, yeah, I got in an elevator with this guy. I'm like, and he later turned out to be a serial killer? And she's like, no, but I think so. And I'm like, I don't think that counts. Like, I don't think you can tell that at parties. Like, I don't think creepy elevator guy is enough. But then I think I understood it because I think I recently ran into a sociopath. Yeah. What? Yeah. There was this guy at this, like, show I was doing. And he was coming up to me and he was like, oh my gosh, you're so smart and funny, and laughing at everything I said. I'm like, okay. He is into this, okay? he wants all this, okay, right? I'm like, he really is into me. And then this is where things get serial killer, okay? He likes 3 of my Instagram pictures. Then I message him. He doesn't respond. Okay, are you telling me John Wayne Gacy did not do that? Is that what you're telling me right now? No, that is a serial killer move, right? Because 3 likes, that's a modern day proposal. Like, you cannot like 3 of somebody's pictures, go back and like 3 of their pictures unless like you're on one knee, right? So then, don't you think that's insane though? Don't you think the next time I see him I have the right to go insane? Yeah, thank you, yes. I'm glad you're on my side because I already saw him and I already did. I already saw him and I went crazy. I was drunk at a party and he was there and I was like, I thought you liked me. And he was like, I do like you. Like, I know, I thought you liked me. He's like, oh, no. And then I'm like, then why did you like my Instagram pictures and like say I was smart and funny and like seem like you were flirting with me? And he was like, I do that to everyone. And I go, no, you don't. Can I say,
Yeah.
bitch? No, you don't, bitch. And I'm like, I know that because I had someone follow you on Instagram. You followed them back and you didn't like 3 of their pictures. I told that to his face. And then he was like, okay, do you want to know the truth? I'm like, okay, that's a loaded question. Do I want to know the truth? Yeah. Only if it services me. Okay. I'm like, okay, tell me the truth. And he's like, the reason I said you were smart and funny and laughed at all your jokes is because I thought you were cool and funny. Have you ever had someone like compliment you because you think they're into you, but then it just turns out they believe in you? like, I have no use for that. Thanks a lot. Like, everyone respects me. I don't need you to respect me. I need you to get inside of me right now. That's what I need. Stop complimenting me. I know I'm smart and funny, okay? I'm so charismatic, you know what I mean? It's hard to take when you're this charismatic, okay? It's like, stop telling me I'm intelligent, that I'm charismatic, you know what I mean? Just punch my fart box, right? That's what I need right now. That's what I need from you. Okay, I'm glad that at least one part of that joke worked. And if nothing else, I'll have that. And God bless America. Thank you. Bye.
Yay! Beckett Kenny, everybody. Oh, wow. Beckett, you remind me of someone posted a picture of me on my when I was 17 years old in my high school yearbook. And I thought I could pass for heterosexual. And my only response was, child. Child. No, Beckett Kenny, everybody. He hasn't learned the privilege of performing and being recognized and having to do that. Can you please get your hands off my ass? Doing the comfortable evening where you have to say to somebody, make sure he doesn't follow me out. Give it a round of applause, everybody. Have we had fun tonight? Yes. This has been Bottoms of the Barrel at Shakers, Q4 Radio, AM16Q4.org. Round of applause for Jason behind the bar. Don't forget to buy me a shot on the way out. I like the fireball because it burns on the way down. It's been a great night. Goodbye.